Hello StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void series! This is a best of 5 series between Haz and MaNa from Dreamhack Montreal that wrapped up just about 3 weeks ago. And this is game number 1, held on Frozen Temple. In the top left side of the map, we have the red Protoss player. It is Haz! And in the bottom right side of the map, we have the blue Protoss player. It is MaNa! Alright, so MaNa is a fan favorite here. Some of my biggest replays ever cast on this channel have featured MaNa, and Haz is just a barrel of fun. He tries out different strategies, you know, cannon rushing, all that great stuff. We'll see if he employs any of these against MaNa. Again, this is a best of 5 series from the round of 32 of Dreamhack Montreal. I figured, haven't cast a PvP in a while, so I went ahead and looked around and said, this looks like a pretty good series. I didn't watch any of these replays, so I'm not quite sure what happens or who wins. But we will take a look and see how entertaining this is. Again, very mirror matchup-y in this early game. Both players getting 2 gateways, both players getting gas. Looks like a double assimilator play here for MaNa, and same story for Haz. Haz is just a tiny bit earlier than MaNa's is, but again, it looks very much all the world like a double Adept play or a double Stalker play. And again, I have talked about the merits of going Stalker versus Adept, and I mean, I've had something explained to me since then. At first I thought Stalkers were better, just because Stalkers outranged Adepts, they didn't take extra damage from Adepts. So I said, just go Stalkers, duh. It's exactly what you want to do, no big deal. But then people said, you know what, Adepts psionic transferring their way back to your base really keeps your Stalkers pinned. Your Stalkers can't be aggressive if Adepts are kind of playing the psionic transfer game with you. So there is a reason to get Adepts. It kind of keeps your opponent off your back while you do whatever you want. So we'll see what these players do. Both players getting their cybernetics score right this very second. A probe scout from MaNa. I would scout Haz too. Haz is a crazy person. I mean, so it's double Stalker here from Haz, and MaNa on the other hand not doing anything. I mean, getting Warp Gate research, but these gateways are remaining quiet right now. And taking an expansion instead. Oh, this could be interesting. Mothership Core is on the way, so basically MaNa is planning on using the Photon Overcharge ability from the Mothership Core to keep people at bay if they show up. One Stalker is on the way. Another player is actually going for Adepts right now. But MaNa might have a bit of an advantage if he can keep this natural base. If he loses it, obviously that's a problem. But keeping it alive would be a very, very big thing for him. Forward pylon being thrown down by MaNa at the natural base. Mothership Core should be able to Photon Overcharge it if necessary, unless Mothership Core gets too far away and the Stalkers come in and kill it, because Mothership Cores do not have much HP. Ah, look at this. Mothership Core for Haz coming down as well. There's a pylon for Haz just north of that natural base. The Stalkers trying to take down that Mothership Core. Can they get it? No, not with 2 Stalkers defending by MaNa, chasing the other Stalkers away. Haz is forced to retreat here. Mothership Core sitting on that high ground. And, yep, building a gateway over here too as Haz at this pylon, again, directly to the north of MaNa's natural base. Planning some one-base aggression is Haz. And you know what? It might work out for him. There's a Stargate on the way too. Ah, the Stalkers for MaNa. They find this base, though. But 2 Stalkers versus 2 Stalkers with a Mothership Core for Haz as well here. Who's going to win this thing? I don't know. It's Stalker versus Stalker action. Mothership Core versus Mothership Core. I think MaNa might have the upper hand, but nope, pulling back to a more defensive position here, recognizing this is a one-base play out of Haz based on what we're seeing at this point. Mothership Core trying to get some shots off. You'll notice Haz is not getting close enough as he loses a Stalker. Can you get the Mothership Core? He gets the Mothership Core, but loses a Stalker in the process and loses his Mothership Core. 1 Photon Overcharge does go off here over by that gateway that Haz has, but there's nobody in range for it to actually hit. MaNa continuing to make Stalkers here. I think MaNa might have this, you guys. I know it's early. I know it's weird to call games this early, but I like that MaNa has an extra base. MaNa has a good Stalker count. MaNa shut down Haz's aggression there, I think, pretty easily. Going to try to take out this pylon, and nope, can't quite get it. The Stalkers for Haz are just being that much annoying, and the Stalkers decide to pull back to the safety of that natural base. Immortal production for MaNa as well. Oh, Immortals are so big. Oracle for Haz, though, sneaking right on in. Can the Stalkers get it first? The Stalkers trying to get some shots off. The Oracle desperately trying to kill some probes. Can't quite do it, though. I think got 1. I think did get 1. Meanwhile, Haz walks in the front door, gets Photon Overcharged in the face. There's an Adept and Stalkers defending there as well. MaNa doing this very well, splitting up the Stalker force, only leaving enough Stalkers behind in the main base and the main natural to actually shoo away this Oracle. Meanwhile, his bigger group of stalkers here at the natural to deal with this aggression from Has. Again, this is one base. Has got to win in the next couple of minutes here. I feel like MaNa just has it. That Immortal is massive. Look at this Immortal. 50 damage versus armored. And guess what stalkers are? Gosh dang it, they're armored. They are armored. Immortals hurt them so bad and always have. PvP's always been about Immortal count to some extent in StarCraft 2. And here it is, pushing right on in. Oracle using some DPS as well, trying to burn down units, doing a great job. A force field comes up. Where's that Mothership Core? I thought there was a Mothership Core here for MaNa, but I don't know. Immortal in the back is up to 2 total kills, just wrecking house. Actually hitting the Adepts. Really should be focusing on the Stalkers, but that's A-okay. Enough to force Has back anyway. More Warping of Zealots for Has here. All the Adepts are gone for Has. It's 38 to 46 total supply, and yes, the Immortal Stalker play doing so well. The Immortal does end up getting killed, but there are only 2 Stalkers left for Has, losing them very quickly. These Zealots desperately chasing, but they're just too darn slow to really work against Stalkers in the hands of a master like MaNa. Here comes the pressure once again from Has, but it's just not enough. The Adepts doing that extra damage against the Zealots of Has. 4 Stalkers versus 3 Stalkers. More and more Stalkers coming out here from MaNa, though. It's 26 to 22 Harvesters. It's a minor lead for MaNa, but it's very much paying off at this moment. Another Oracle on the way for Has. Did he lose that first one? He did. He must have tried to sneak back in again, and the Stalkers took him down there. So, yeah, here we are. MaNa just defending, recognizing this is a 1 base all-in. I don't think Has really has a way to transfer out of this. Man, you say Has a lot. I'm just realizing when you're casting. But, yeah, Has versus Has here. MaNa has a probe sitting just outside the natural base of where Has would take an expansion, so he'll know exactly what's going on if something does happen there. And so far, nothing. So far, Has is trying to make this thing work solely with Stalkers and Zealots off of 1 base and that forward pylon. Another Immortal here for MaNa, though. Again, I think that's the key. I think that is the entire key to this game. Adept Sonic transferring their way on out to see exactly what Has is doing. Has just kind of poking in, and the longer this game goes on, the more I just think it's going to go to MaNa. And there's not much that Has can do. So the Immortal just getting shots off on everything. Really needs to be hitting Stalkers, and is kind of doing it, pushing right on through. Here is Has, trying to make it work, pulling back, recognizing the Immortal is a massive problem. 2 kills already on that Immortal. Oracle trying to sneak in for Has. 3 Stalkers, 4 Stalkers back in this mineral line, preventing that from happening. And still, only 1 probe has been killed by both of these players. So those Oracles not really making the best use of themselves. Immortal gets another kill here. He's up to 3 total kills, making it 4 before he explodes. But man, 4 kills for 1 Immortal is so cost efficient. Stalkers for MaNa coming down that ramp again, and it's just a micro battle right now. The question is Has... Yes, Has is starting to get mined out, and there's the GG. GG from Has. Has is defeated here in game number 1. MaNa is victorious, and MaNa takes the 1-0 series lead. All right, so once again, Has went for the 1 base all-in with the forward pylon, with the gateway, with the warp gate, trying to make this thing work with Stalkers, with Zealots, with Adepts. Never really teched up to anything else. I guess he had Oracles, but the Immortals were just massive for MaNa. Killed so many Stalkers, really turned the tide in a couple of those battles. Has was patient, tried to pick it away, but eventually, I mean, MaNa had 34 workers, Has had 23, Has was at 1 base, MaNa was at 2, and Has decided to tap out. So that's it for game number 1. I'll be right back with game number 2. Welcome back, StarCraft fans. This is game number 2 between Has and MaNa from their best of 5 series from the round of 32 of Dreamhack Open Montreal, and this is New Gettysburg, the ladder edition. In the bottom left side of New Gettysburg, we have the red Protoss player currently down 1-0. It is Has. And in the right side of the map at the bottom, the only other place you can spawn is the blue Protoss player who is up 1-0 is MaNa. So alright, Team Liquid getting some good representation here out of MaNa so far. Great hold. Has went for the 1 base aggression. Could not quite pull it off, and in the end, MaNa was able to hold, and that's all you gotta do, man. If you can get 2 bases against a 1 baser and hold it, you win. You don't have to push across the map. You don't necessarily have to kill any of their buildings. The 1 baser is done for and will likely tap out if you can hold in that situation. So I do like casting these series. You get shorter games. Like, I would never cast an 8-minute game just by itself for you guys as one of my 2 daily casts, just because I feel like it's not really worth your time. But doing these series allows me to see short games, allows me to see long games, allows me to check things out from a different perspective and see things that I don't normally see in those 15, 20, 25-minute macro-style games that are very common on the channel. But Anyway, enough blathering about the meta on my channel, at least. Both players working on 2 gateways. Both players have double assimilators in their main base, and both players going to get a cybernetics core very, very shortly here indeed. And there it is. There's one cyber core. Two cyber cores. Whew. Anybody still watch Sesame Street? Maybe with their kids. I don't know how old you guys are, but I actually don't do Sesame Street at my house. We don't really have access to PBS. I think the problem is we have an antenna, but it's not very good. So mostly it's just Netflix for the kids, but we do try to make sure it's educational stuff. Octonauts is really big in my house right now. I think that's a Disney Channel show. It's animated. It's about these animals like bears and rabbits and stuff that have an undersea base. It's kind of like Sea Lab 2000. And they help out marine animals, and they learn marine life. And they learn about awesome stuff, like sharks. Anyway, it's a pretty good one. I'm okay with my kids watching that. My 3-year-old really, really loves that one for sure. Back on track, though. Haz throws down the blocking pylon. Throws down the blocking pylon. So mean. MaNa just wanted to expand, man. That's all he wanted. Mothership core does show up, trying to knock down that pylon for Haz. It will take her a while, but I don't know. She's taking some good chunks off that HP and off that shields. Meanwhile, is Haz going to throw down the expansion? Not really planning on it, based on this mineral count. Although, it is starting to ratchet up here. 200, 280, 300. Yeah, maybe he is. Haz is going to expand instead of one base in it. So he gets the block off, but he loses some resources by doing so. As you can see here, resources lost 100 total. Some adepts from Haz trying to sneak it up. This is exactly what I was talking about in the game number 1. Nice block. Fantastic block. Is that these adepts sonic transferring past your base keep the stalkers pinned inside your base. They just do. No, they can't necessarily kill you. Look how little damage they're doing to these stalkers, but they're just annoying. They're super annoying. Can they kill that one, though? Man, stalkers are fast. Bam! One adept dies. The other one is fleeing for her life, but sonic transfers back again to keep the stalkers busy. Oh, this is not good for Haz. This is really bad for Haz, you guys. Gonna lose 2 adepts for virtually nothing. 2 adepts and a pylon killed for nothing. MaNa bringing his mothership core over. What are you doing? Why would you be here? This is so weird for MaNa. Again, I don't see this stuff in these crazy early games in PvP. Oracle's on the way from Haz, just like what happened in game number 1. Mothership core here from MaNa trying to kill probes, gets 1. Mothership core harass, and then the recall home. I always forget about recall, but there it is. Gets the recall home, still alive. Mind you, with 1 kill to her name. Mothership core happy about that one. MaNa putting on the pressure this time, unlike in game number 1, where Haz had all of the initiative. So what's he got? 6 stalkers, going to try to push on in here. Yes, there's a mothership core, but getting focused down. Photon overcharge, too scary. MaNa decides to retreat. MaNa decides to take down another one of Haz's pylons that is blocking the area between these 2 bases, and Photon Overcharge trying to take out this Oracle that is burning through probes very quickly, alarmingly quickly. Oh no, that is not good. MaNa's down to 18 total workers. Is that 9 kills for that Oracle? Why are you killing an assimilator? Don't do that. Don't kill the assimilator. No workers here to kill, unfortunately for Haz's Oracle. MaNa needs to go now. MaNa's down 33 to 19 total harvesters. It's 2 base to 2 base. I don't know. Yep, defending with probes is Haz. Great force fields here as well. The probes are just basically messing up the AI of the stalkers, losing a few of them. But again, this means that MaNa's stalkers are not killing mothership core. MaNa's stalkers are not killing stalkers, but hey, actually killing stalkers there. More and more probes dying. It's 27 to 20 harvesters now, so maybe not as much of a problem as I thought, except for the fact that the Oracle's back with 7 kills now. This Oracle is causing so many problems for MaNa. 10 kills. Yeah. And there are probes up there at the natural base he could kill as well if he felt like it. Where's that Oracle? That's it. The GG from MaNa. MaNa's defeated in game number 2. Haz is victorious. That Oracle was brutal. 20 probes killed by Haz in that game. 20. And I think that was all Oracle. I really do think that was all Oracle. Did he lose 1? No, so where did he have 2 oracles? Oh, he had 2 oracles. Okay, so one had about 10. One had about 11 there or so. 9, 8 or 9. Math is hard. Anyway, the point is, the oracles came in. MaNa was not ready for it. He tried to push up the front, couldn't quite pull it off. Again, the production for Has, I think, was going to include an immortal there. I can't quite tell based on that production tab, but oh, yes, I can. It's right there. It's an immortal. Ta-da! So, yep, kind of flipped the script there a little bit. Has got the oracle stuff as usual, but went for the immortal play. MaNa wasn't ready for it. Pushed in with stalkers. Had a good number of stalkers, but couldn't do it against the probe defense, against the photon overcharge defense, against the soon-to-be immortal defense, and tapped out. So that's game number 2. Let's go ahead and hop right on over into game number 3. Hello, StarCraft fans! Welcome back to game number 3 between MaNa and Has here on Frost. In the bottom right side of the map, we have the blue Protoss player currently tied up 1-1 with his opponent. It is MaNa. And in the top right side of the map, we have the red Protoss player also tied 1-1 because that's how this thing works. It is Has. So some early game aggression from both players here. Has playing the aggressor in game number 1, couldn't quite pull it off. And MaNa playing the aggressor in game number 2, and he couldn't quite pull it off. So maybe the story is defend. Defend in PvP. If you try to be the aggressor, bad things will happen. Although in MaNa's case, bad things happened because 2 oracles showed up and wrecked his production abilities by killing 20 of his probes. 20 of like the available 32. It was not good. It was really bad, but you just watched it. You know exactly what you saw. I don't have to tell you that. So this is Frost. It's a 4-player map. It generally tends to cause more macro-style games. We'll see exactly what we're dealing with when it comes to this game number 3. A pivotal game number 3. At least in the NBA playoffs, which I'm a huge fan of basketball and the NBA in general. In 5-game series, which they don't have anymore, but they used to, it seemed like the team that won game number 3 won the series about 80% of the time. So it's not a guarantee, but winning that pivotal game 3, it's a game 5, I guess, in best of 7 series, really can help you get some momentum, especially if the series is tied to that point, and really propel you over the edge for the eventual series win. So this is a big one. Everybody put your hands together if you support MaNa, and let's hear it for your support of Has, who's very fun. People are big fans of Has, but MaNa's been around for a long time and might have the bigger fan base overall. I don't know. That's difficult to say. Anyway, both players getting their cybernetics cores, and really that's all we care about. Once the cyber core is done, what do we see? Do we see an expansion? Do we see stalkers? Do we see adepts? Do we see robotics facilities or stargates? There are many, many possibilities. Has once again trying to block this expansion for MaNa, being super annoying. And here comes the probe. It's going to be a probe versus probe violence right now. And no, MaNa decides, you know what? Forget you. To Zealot. What are Zealots going to do for you, MaNa? What is going on? Maybe Zealots are better at taking down buildings. I mean, I think they do have more DPS than Stalkers. I don't know. Yeah, there's the cancel. Canceled, moved right into Stalker there instead. MaNa was able to get the natural base down. MaNa is going to harass with his Mothership Core again. I don't know why. I mean, it's fun, I guess. There's a sneaky probe here for MaNa inside Has's base. Inside his main. Is that going to get scouted or not? I don't think Has is going to scout over this direction. MaNa, what are you doing? What are you doing? Scouting probe 4. Has gets destroyed before it can get up the ramp. Bad stinking news. Does know there's a stalker though. So I mean that's good information, I suppose. And yeah, both players just minding their own business. I thought MaNa was going to send his Mothership Core out, but no. That did not happen. Has no interest in doing that either. So these players are just kind of sitting on their heels. Ah, Has's stalker did scout around the main and found Has's probe. Ah, what was MaNa planning on doing with that? Oh, I wanted to see what that was so bad, but now we'll never know. Now we will never know. If I could interview MaNa, I would ask him what he was trying to do there. A Leote critter just hanging out as MaNa heads up north. I guess we are going to see some harassment here, but there are stalkers on the ground for Has. So I'm not sure how effective this is going to be exactly. Stalkers defending their own mineral line with the probe transfer. It's not a huge probe transfer. Maybe 4 of those guys made it down from the main base to try to moderately saturate the natural. Mothership Core getting shot at by the Stalker as she tries to come on up and perhaps do some scouting. Photon Overcharge takes it down before she can recall home. Nice pickup. Nice pickup for Has. MaNa gets the first blood. Well, I guess both players have lost workers. I think technically MaNa got first blood by killing that scouting probe, but first Mothership Core down going to Has. Immediate robotics facility here from our player Has. MaNa already has one. Is working on a warp prism. Warp prism. Possibly some special tactics on the way here. 2 Adepts for Haz, trying to sneak on in and scout things out. And going to finish that transfer. Yes, does finish the transfer, but there are Stalkers here. Probes fighting for their lives as well. I don't know if you want to do that. Adepts hit really hard. I don't think this Adept's going to make it out of here alive, unfortunately for her. And boop. She dies, but 3 probes got killed as well. Not sure if that's a fair trade necessarily. Resources lost, 400 for MaNa and about 300 for Haz. So maybe so. I guess losing that mothership core was a bigger deal than I thought when it came to resources. Haz is making an observer with his robotics facility. Immediate immortal production for MaNa, on the other hand. Again, immortals very good. Very good in PvP just because they do so well against Stalkers, and Stalkers are generally the backbone of any army when it comes to this matchup. 2 probes got killed. Adepts picked up and escaped by that warp prism, just yoinked right from the natural base and that natural mineral line of Haz. 3rd base on the way for Haz, in the traditional location to the left of the main. Photon overcharge chasing MaNa away. Alright, that's fine. Are this more? Yes, Adepts continuing to do this thing. Coming in, dropping the Adepts, killing some workers, picking them up, boosting out. Exactly. MaNa going to shut down this 3rd base pretty handily. I would say he saw it, didn't quite recognize what he saw, and then came back over to force a cancel on this 3rd. Haz, I don't think, can save it. I think he recognizes that, and there's the cancel. Cancel? He didn't cancel! Haz, why would you not cancel? Why did you make me call it before anything happened? Was that a dead warp prism? Hold up. Warp prism for MaNa, again doing some more harassment, trying to sneak up to the front door. Oh, Haz. Ugh. I actually heard Adept dying sounds there. That's interesting. Guardian Shield coming up. Guardian Shield coming up for both of these players. Force fields everywhere. Who's going to win this thing? I don't know. I feel like Haz has the greater Stalker count, which is kind of what's important in general in this situation, but somehow an Immortal... Oh, Immortal shows up for MaNa. That's what it is. Like, Haz is retreating. What is that all about? It is because an Immortal showed up, but there's a pretty good Stalker count by Haz. Total number 8-3 in favor of our red Protoss player right now. Not good. Not good if you are liquid MaNa. Anyway, both players on 2 bases, 40-43 harvesters. Very close. Very close at this point in time. MaNa's working on a replacement warp prism and getting resonating glaives for the Adepts. Stalkers blinking forward. The blink Stalkers from Haz. Can they get the Immortal? They get the Immortal. There's another Immortal here, though, as they are very close to the natural base for MaNa. So MaNa has that defender's advantage, which always comes in handy. Haz is working on a 3rd base, replacement 3rd base now, and Blink Stalker, just pure Blink Stalker with some observer support is what we're getting here from Haz. He's going to maybe blink up into the main, try to see what work he can do there. Some Adepts by MaNa up here. Sonic transferring into the natural base, killing more and more of these probes. MaNa has killed 11 probes thus far, which is great, but the Blink Stalker is up into the main base from Haz. Not looking good. Not looking good at all. They're kind of trapped right now. Adepts and Stalkers and Immortals force the Haz Stalkers to blink back down to the low ground and perhaps try to harass a little bit more on this natural. I don't know. I mean, just kind of bouncing right now, bouncing back and forth between the natural and the main base, blinking into the main whenever he feels like it, which right now he does not. Right now he does not feel like it at all. Stalker count still 3 for MaNa, really going heavy Adept here, which I'm not sure I quite understand. I mean, Adepts aren't great against Stalkers. I suppose with Resonating Glaives, they're better, but Haz blinks into the main. Meanwhile, more Adept harassment back here by MaNa at the natural base of Haz. Photon Overcharge used to chase the Warp Prism away. Stalkers killing pylons very effectively indeed, and then trying to get out of here. Trying to kill as much as they can before they blink away. 2 Stalkers didn't make it, and they get destroyed. So it's 47-44 harvesters. MaNa has a lead on that. 103-99 total supply. Both players are harvesting at pretty equal amounts, but this 3rd base for Haz could be a turning point to what MaNa is trying to do. So MaNa decides to push on out. MaNa is not going for 3rd base, but Stalker is slipping behind this push out of his army. Oh no, Haz killing so many probes right now. Photon Overcharge does come up. The Stalker is trying to kill it. Can they get there? Probes turning around and fighting against their persecutors and their tormentors here. Mothership Core does not have enough to Photon Overcharge. Stalker's going to try to focus her down as well, and they do get her. Couple Adepts warping in. It's the base race time. MaNa trying to push right on through here. Photon Overcharge, double Photon Overcharge does come up. A lot of Adepts here as well. Both players have that resonating glaives upgrade. Neither of them have any forge upgrades here. Can Has hold? Because if he can hold, he's in a good place, because these Stalkers by Has are locking down his natural base very easily indeed. The Immortals not good against Adepts. Do not do extra damage versus them. Adepts don't do extra damage versus them either, but the Warp Prism Micro keeping these Immortals alive. 5 kills, 3 kills, losing 1, and that's it. The GG. GG from MaNa. MaNa's defeated and Has is victorious, taking game number 3. Once again, able to hold here, while MaNa had a much more difficult time holding down here. 26 to 36 Harvesters, 3 bases to 2 bases. MaNa was forced to retreat, and that was it. So well played by Has there. MaNa with some excellent harass. He killed a ton of workers. Both players ended up losing 25 by the end of the game, but I mean, MaNa's harassment at this natural base was epic for quite a while. It just wasn't quite enough. Wasn't enough. MaNa somehow had fewer Adepts than Has did, it seemed like, even though I think MaNa started the production of Adepts earlier. So maybe just better macro is what it came down to in game number 3. So Has takes that one after dropping game number 1. Has takes a very nice 2 games to 1 series lead. And we'll move into game number 3 here in just a second. Welcome back, StarCraft fans, to game 4 between Has and MaNa here on King Sage on Station, the Ladder Edition. In the top left side of the map, we have the red Protoss player. It is Has, currently with a nice 2-1 lead on MaNa. And in the bottom right side here, we have the blue Protoss player, MaNa, which I feel like I've said a lot now. Down 2-1, needing to win these last 2 games in order to move on to the round of 16 from Dreamhack Open Montreal. So definitely backs against the wall right now for MaNa. It's been close. These first 3 games were pretty short, but it came down to Stalker count, it came down to Immortal placement, it came down to who could hurt the other player more. I mean, I guess that's generally true, but somehow Has flipped it to where he had more Adepts than MaNa did, even though I think MaNa started that production earlier. So it was a weird situation overall, but Has did a great job. Nothing too cheesy. Almost actually went for 3 base against MaNa and did manage to take the win nonetheless. So very impressive play here. Has can close it out by winning game number 4 here. Can he pull it off? I don't know. Both players going again for about the same opening, although is Has going 1 gate instead of 2? It looks like he is. He's going a 1 gate expand with 2 assimilators here. Interesting play from Has. Wait. Oh no. Oh, cybernetics core. Okay, I was going to say cyber core first. Yeah, you can't really hold any type of aggression with just the Zealots versus an opposing Protoss player. Both players are scouting. MaNa trying to sneak up with a probe of his own. Going to get the block, not trying to get the block. Does not block the expansion, scouts the expansion very nicely, heads back in and check the assimilator count. Doesn't see anything untoward, which is fantastic. Has is throwing up a pylon. Yeah, not really a proxy. More of a ninja pylon, if you get right down to it here. Over here on the top right of the map, mid-right, I guess. Pretty much at the equator of the map, to the right side by a potential, 4th, 5th base for MaNa here on the right side. Either way, both players scouting with their workers. Actually, Has is not scouting with his worker. He's going, oh, proxy Stargate. Well, ninja Stargate anyway. I need to get those terms straight in my head. So Has working on a stalker back home. Just for defense, MaNa is making 2 stalkers at his base. Is he going to send them anywhere? It looks like he is. He's got them rallied way up here to where MaNa has a forward pylon. MaNa has a robotics facility. So both players doing some sneaky shenanigans here in game number 4. Very interested to see how this is going to work out for them. Warp Gate research coming up for MaNa. And like I said, Stargate in production for Has. He's probably going to go Oracle. His Oracles were very good in game number 2. I'd like to see him recreate that success. Would be excellent for him as well. So Gateway Robotics Facility up here for MaNa next to that pile that he's got going near the 3rd base of Has. And is this going to be an Oracle? Come on, Has. Yes, it is going to be an Oracle. Heading right on out. 2 stalkers by MaNa. Trying to take down that pylon to prevent any photon overcharges. Just poking in and out of the range, waiting for Has to throw down that photon overcharge. Because when he does, it's a waste, right? At that point, MaNa just pulls back, and Mothership Core can't make another one for a while. More and more stalkers coming in for MaNa. Has 4 of them, which just means there's really not much to defend against. This Oracle is the problem. Oh, smokes. Could this turn into... this could be bad news. Look at this. Stalkers taking out a pylon, forcing a cancel. on a pylon here and trying to take down another pylon while getting photon overcharged in the face. Not what you want. Really not what you want to see at all. Trying to get that mothership core. I think Haz is kind of baiting them with this mothership core. Oh, they get it anyway, though. They get it anyway. Oracle for Haz is here. Oracle, go. Go, go, go. I don't think there's anything to defend whatsoever. Okay, there is a mothership core and 2 pylons. Nice photon overcharge. Actually chasing that away. So it looked like MaNa was more prepared for that than I thought. Pushing right in with a ton of stalkers with an immortal. Sneaking up to MaNa. What an amazing play, defending against the Oracle harass. Taking on this pylon. Oh, depowering the gateway, the cybernetics core and the gateway at the top of the ramp here for Haz. Haz's production is dead. Dead in the water. Cybernetics core falls. Haz is forced to defend with straight up probes right now, which is never a good feeling. Oracle trying to sneak on in here from Haz, trying to kill as much as possible, but 2 stalkers waiting for it, and that's it. The GG from Haz. Oh, Haz is defeated, and MaNa ties up the series 2 games 2-2 with a very well executed Stalker Immortal push here at about 4 minutes. Legacy of the Void is so darn fast. Haz really sank a lot of his income and a lot of what he was trying to do into that Oracle, and double pylon in the mineral line with a mothership core waiting was exactly what MaNa needed. Exactly what he needed. It allowed him to send the stalkers up to the front door to Haz. It allowed him to defend back home. And he takes the win. So again, tied up 2-2 after 4 games. We're moving into the rubber match. Game number 5 in just a second. Welcome to game number 5 between Haz and MaNa here on Apotheosis from their best of 5 series from the round of 32 of Dreamhack Open in Montreal. And let's get right on into it. In the bottom right side of the map, tied up 2-2-2, it is Liquid MaNa. And in the top left side of the map, we have the red Protoss player. It is Haz. Also tied at 2 games. I wish this worked up here. I know every time I do a series, people are like, this never incremented. I gotta send an email to my guy. I'm gonna do it tonight. I will do it tonight, I promise. The next series should have this working. You should be able to fix it pretty darn handily, or tell me how to do it, I suppose. It used to work. The Servant OBS replay interface used to allow me to increment both of these, but right now I think all I can do, all I can do is that bottom one. I can't affect the top one at all no matter what I press. I mean, the hotkeys should work, but they don't. That's okay. Again, I keep telling you, this is 2-2-2. This is game 5. Whoever wins this thing moves on to the round of 16. So it's for all the marbles here. This is as pressure-filled as it gets in StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. So, MaNa doing the same thing he's done every game so far against Haz. Double Assimilator, a double gateway into Cybernetics Core, into probably Stalker, is what I would guess. This is a 2-player map. It's a pretty long rush distance. I'm not sure how much that matters in PvP, but either way, MaNa is probe scouting, which he has also done pretty consistently in this matchup as well, which is just great. It's fantastic to probe scout. I like it. I know Stefano said worker scouting isn't really worth it, but I just don't think you can put a price on information that you get as to what your opponent is doing based on their build order. So Stefano and I will have to disagree on that one, which is okay. I think he's okay with that. Stefano seems like a really chill dude. He's not going to get mad at me for disagreeing with him on that point. Cybernetics Core coming up for both of these players. We'll see who decides to do what with it. Haz has really favored Stargate play. MaNa's really more gone for Immortal play out of the robotics facility. And we'll see if MaNa just sticks with what's worked so far. Double Adept for MaNa. Have we seen... I don't know that we've seen Double Adept straight up from MaNa yet. MaNa does have that Probe Scout just running around trying to create harassment opportunities. Double Adept for Haz. So both players going for the same Double Adept opener, which I think that's new. I actually think that's new in this series. So you see something new every day, and sometimes in Game 5 as well. There's a Stargate for Haz. Not too surprised by that one. I'd be shocked if MaNa went for one, however. Haz is trying to block this attempt at an expansion by MaNa, and Mothership Core attempting to take it down by her lonesome. Adepts did not assist there. I feel like they could have. They were just kind of hanging out, forcing the cancel, and MaNa saving up those 400 minerals to go for the Nexus. Haz's Adepts, meanwhile, heading on down south. So both players sending their Adepts to murder stuff, not really worrying about the other pair and what they're going to do. Stargate complete for Haz. Got to be an Oracle. Gots to be an Oracle for Haz. And production tab. We'll keep an eye on that production tab. How about that? Adept versus Stalker. Again, I feel like the Stalkers are pretty good in this situation. They do kill one of the Adepts pretty darn quickly. And the Adepts for MaNa come in. Photon Overcharge shows up, trying to stay outside of that range. They do kill a couple probes which is sometimes all you need. Like, these games have been close. Killing 2 workers, 4 workers can sometimes be enough to actually get a victory there. 2, okay. Remember what I said about just killing a handful of workers there? That's exactly what MaNa is trying to do. Has his adept kind of hanging out and hiding right now. And it's a Phoenix this time. Has going Phoenix. Adepts for MaNa, just not worrying about the stalkers, punching them in the face. There's the lift. A lift on one of the adepts, but 7 workers killed. One of the adepts falls. The other 2, or the other 1, getting killed here too. Trying to kill as many probes as possible. Can't quite get another one there. Adept for Has sneaking on in, trying to scout things out as well. I don't think this one is as interested in killing probes. Does get one though before getting photon overcharged in the mouth there, and she's dead as well. So both players have lost quite a bit of stuff to this point. About 700 resources lost for Has. MaNa's lost about 300 or so, but that's 8 workers lost for the red Protoss player. It's 21 to 27 harvesters. MaNa has a lead. It's not a huge, massive lead, but did have the expansion up first as well, and that's going to help quite a bunch here. So MaNa in defense positioning with stalkers, with sentries, really worried about what's going to come out of that Stargate, recognizing there was a Phoenix, right? So there's probably going to be more than one. You usually don't see just a single Phoenix by itself. You're going to see a whole bunch without question. Photon overcharged pylons or chargeable pylons available inside the main base in this main mineral line. A stalker here as well. And yeah, just stalker sentry hanging out inside the mineral line for MaNa. Going to defend against these Phoenix and then perhaps push out once those have been dealt with. Has is transitioning into a robotics facility, which is good. MaNa's getting Blink. Yeah, I just feel like maybe Blink Stalker would be excellent in this situation. Phoenix trying to kill some probes. Able to kill a couple of them pretty quickly, but one of those Phoenix very, very, very low on health in the process. Didn't lose one. Has his control is a little bit too good for that. Can they get the mothership core? Getting some shots off on it. Lifting a probe at the same time. Managing to get it. Has being very active with these Phoenix right now. There's only 3 of them. And a Void Ray, though. A Void Ray coming out. Has going a little bit sky tossed here. We'll see what comes out of that robotics facility. I have to imagine Observer, first of all, and then probably an Immortal as well. Phoenix, again, just slowly picking off these workers. It's 37 to 35 harvesters. MaNa would have a bigger lead, except for the fact that has kept up this harassment so effectively well. Immortal first. Immortal first for Has here. So, One of the things about these deciding matches, these Game 5s, these Game 7s, is that people get a little bit more conservative. They're not as willing to attack. They're not as willing to risk themselves by getting out there. You'll see players sitting inside their bases a little bit longer just because if they overextend, if they make a wrong move out in the middle of the map, that could be the end of it and they're going home. So they don't want that to happen. They might defend a little bit more than they usually would. This mineral line's completely unprotected for the natural. Okay, Mothership Core does move over here to defend, but man, for a second there, I thought the Phoenix would have had a field day on those workers at the natural. MaNa is moving up the map. He's got stalkers, adepts, and sentries trying to push out to see what damage he can do, but there's an Immortal and a Void Ray here for Has. I know Void Rays aren't amazing, but they do damage. They really do some DPS. MaNa picking up with the Warp Prism the sentries. Oh, is he going to sentry drop? Oh, the blink into the main base here from MaNa. Force fielding off that ramp a little bit late as the Phoenix get cleaned out there. 2 Void Rays. Blinking out here are the Stalkers, taking down pylons. Force fielding off Has from his own natural base. The Void Rays trying to do what they can, getting taken out immediately. Photon overcharge coming up, trying to get rid of the... Oh, they do get rid of the Warp Prism. They stop the warping of reinforcements at the front door, but MaNa has a lot of Stalkers. The pylons are gone. Has... No, I thought he was just basically giving up on this natural base, but he didn't. He's being force fielded out by MaNa. Oh, MaNa, this is such a dirty play. But it's so beautiful at the same time. Has is desperately trying to defend, but he's losing so many workers. 18 workers dead. 18. It's 25 to 40 total harvesters. This Immortal is putting in work, but the Stalker count is a little bit higher for MaNa right now. And just focusing on probes right now, I think, is what he is doing. Killing Adepts as well. Adept does end up falling. A handful of Stalkers and an Immortal is all that's left here for Has. Reinforcing Stalkers coming from the south for MaNa. MaNa's taking a third base at the gold, looking bad for Has. Blinking on top is MaNa, taking down one of the Immortals. Getting rid of the other one. Yep, focus firing that one next. Probes coming in, desperately fighting for their lives. Fighting for his chances, and that's it. A GG from Has. Has is defeated, and MaNa is victorious, having won this series 3 games to 2. despite being down 2-1 at one point. So like I said, MaNa had to win games 4 and 5 to win this series, and he did. What an amazing comeback for Liquid MaNa, taking out a player as tricky as Has can be. That last engagement was just perfect for MaNa. Blinks into the main base, drops sentries up here as 2, waits for Has to come up the ramp to defend, then force fields off the ramp, blinks back down to the low ground, and just has his way with Haz's expansion. Killed so many probes, 29 probes killed right there, kept force fielding that ramp with 4 sentries. You can do it indefinitely. Indefinitely, no problem. All those workers died. Has finally came down, but there were just too many stalkers for MaNa. 14 when all was said and done, continually sending reinforcements up with his better and much more improved economy, and MaNa takes it. So that was a pretty good little 5-game series there. None of the games were super macro oriented, but they were fun. Again, I don't see this kind of stuff very often, so I was glad to be able to cast it for you, kind of show you what a quick PvP game can be like, and get you a 5-game series at the same time. So fantastic play from Has, but MaNa takes the win, 3-2, doing Team Liquid proud. All right, so that's it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another series of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter and Facebook and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself. Let's give a quick shout out to everybody who donated to my Patreon so far. And thank you so much for donating. Nick Riley, Josh Cornelius, Jin, KN, Matt Mermans, Hekon Marcus, Christopher, Alex Coffey, Ben Raboin, 19-Day, Keith Garlow, Michael Wellen, Alexandros Kolonaris, Michael McIntosh, Bo Preset, Pushpak Eledu, Trevor Smith, Alex Sims, Back Bertie, Sip Kopatada, Plaid, Jan Kodera, and Rajiv Bhatt. Thanks again to everybody who has donated so far. There's a link at the top right if you'd like to go ahead and pledge. Again, just $1 a month would be so appreciated and so welcome on the channel. You can get rewards. You can get t-shirts. I will cast my own games. I'll cast your games. Check me out again on patreon.com/FalconPaladin. Thank you.